Hi guys. Oh, the turtle.
Yeah, he'll throw you off your bike.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know.
Is that
that's what we're doing too.
Is that a snapping turtle?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this rail line ran for 100 years, a short line rail from here to out into the country. But these are beautiful, beautiful parks. Just a second, I gotta, oops, there we go, a little wobble. But we gotta get past all this traffic. You can see the sign here says 60 kilometers an hour. Sometimes people treat that as a suggestion rather than a rule. I can't help myself. Okay, I'm gonna get you to the forest. Hang on a second and we'll go there next. Like I said, this is the most southerly acidic bog in Canada. Today we're on a mission to discover carnivorous plants living in a 10,000-year-old bog. But you want to know is, what do they eat? Are we in danger? And where is this 10,000-year-old bog? Hi, I'm Lawrence, and I lead bicycle tours in London, Canada. And I'm standing today at the start of the Rotary Trail. You can see the sign here. It says Hyde Park. I don't know if you can see it. Oops. The Hyde Park Rotary Trail. I can't get this. There we are. The Hyde Park Rotary Trail, and this is on Sunningdale Road in London, in the northwest of London, Canada. Now, if I turn the camera around this way, you can see that this way, there's absolutely nothing. The trail stops, and we'll get into that in a second. But this way, it's a beautiful path leading all the way down into the city. So like I said, we're in the northwest part of the city. And we're gonna hop on our trusty steed here and get started. Okay, here we go. So it's a very beautiful ride. The first 1.5 kilometers to get to the first road is through the newly built Rotary Trail that I just mentioned there. And it's a gravel path. And I'm gonna turn the camera around in a second and I'll show you the kind of countryside we're passing through, because this really is kind of out in the country, just entering the city. So you'll see once I get a bit further up here. Let's turn the camera around. If you look to the side here, there's the development kind of creeping out into the rural area. And if I go up over here on the right hand side, you'll peek through the trees, and we'll probably, I don't know if you can see it, but there's big fields, farm fields there. So, but the path is very nice. And of course, it's a Saturday morning, the sun is shining, it hasn't got too hot, and this path is so pleasant. The shade is beautiful. Oh, I think there's a spot, no, can't see there. I just have to find a break in the trees so I can show you the fields on the right hand side. But like I said, on the left hand side, here's where you can see the, oh, there's the field right there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the beautiful fields out there side. Now, as we get a bit further along here, this is beautiful right through here. This is shaded and cool. The temperature is going to go really hot today. Apparently it's going to go like 42 degrees with the humidity. 42 degrees Celsius. For those who are not familiar, that's hot for Canada. But this is just gorgeous. So this rail line, this was originally what they call the London, Huron, and Bruce short rail line. So the L, H, and B rail line. And it was pretty bumpy, apparently, for passengers, and they just nicknamed it the, what do they call it again? Letter hit and bump, L, H, and B. It was also called, it was a farm, kind of a farm. It was from London out to the farm for 70 kilometers. And it was also called the, I think they called it the butter and egg special, because it went out into the countryside. So as we get a bit further up here, we're actually going to reach a point where we get inside the city limits, or not, no, we're actually in the city limits right now, but there's something called the urban growth boundary. And I'll put a map on screen so you can see the urban growth boundary. And that's where it starts to get more urban, of course. It's to prevent sprawl. Right now we still have on the right hand side, there's the fields, potatoes, I think. So this rail line ran for 100 years, a short line rail from here to out into the country. It went from 1875 to 1988, and then this last section between here and Ilderton, they tore it up in 1988, between 1988 and now. Now the hope is that they're actually going to extend. You saw where I started with the Sunningdale. They're hoping to extend this rotary rail line all the way out to Ilderton. So you have between London and Ilderton, we have a nice rail line to go on. That hasn't happened yet, but we can hope. Now, as we go up ahead, try not to run into these lovely people here. On the right hand side, there's that's a lumber yard, and so that's an example of actually a number. That's a what do you call it? A topsoil and landscape place. But a lot of the businesses on this part of this rail line use this rail line, obviously. So there's a picture of the, see the dump trucks there through the trees. Hi folks.
Hey.
Hello. So we're coming up to the first road crossing now. Right now this is looking kind of dicey, you know, because you're passing a major road and there's no crosswalk or anything, but that's coming apparently. So I spoke to the active transportation manager, and he said that there's going to have a pedestrian crossing coming. So that's in the plans. So now make a go for it. This is one obstacle passed, and now for the next 1.5 kilometers, we should be good to go again. So now we're in an area that's a little more open. This is the Hyde Park, kind of a, what do they call it? Hyde Park Business Improvement Area. And there are about 5 of them in the city. And this is one of them. Based on the fact it was like an old industrial site just off the rail line. Once you get a little ways away from those main roads, you don't hear them at all. It's just beautiful. Now what I'm going to do next is we're going to travel up here a bit, and we're going to come across something a little bit bumpy here. We're going to come across something called a stormwater management pond, and what they are designed to do is to slow the water from rushing into the Thames River. What they do is they filter out any pollutants or anything like that, road runoff, things like that. And so the ducks love it, frogs love it, geese, they all love it, and people too. So we're going to come up to that shortly. So I just love, oh, here we go, we're coming close now. We're coming up to the pond here. I'll just turn the camera around again. You can see it. There's, in the background, you can kind of see the industrial area there. But also you can see this stormwater pond, and maybe you can hear all the red-winged blackbirds singing their songs. I hope the sun doesn't get in your eyes there. There's a bird flying by. So I use an e-bike, and it's really great for getting around. Battery lasts for a long time. I can pretty well get anywhere I need to go in London. London's a neat place to ride your bike because there's lots more bicycle infrastructure being built all the time, and the city's not that big. It's got 500,000 people now. It's one of the fastest growing cities in Canada, but it's only at the widest 20 kilometers wide on Oxford Street. And from north to south inside the urban growth boundary, it's 16 kilometers. So 16 by 20, it's pretty reasonable. Now I know there's somewhere in here, I don't know where it is, I gotta find it. But somewhere in here, there's actually markers that show where the city boundary used to be. Oh, there it is, right there, found it. Just a second, we'll turn around this way. So at one point, this was the boundary of the city. So if you can see that there, City of London. I'll get a bit closer so you can see that. So that's the City of London boundary marker. And obviously since that time they've expanded the city outwards. There's a path leading off to the industrial area and to the residential area beyond there. So we're going to turn around. We just had to find that marker because I think it's really cool. There's some more people walking. People love it out here, these paths. Okay, so we're going to go up here and we're going to continue down the rail path. There goes the red-winged blackbird, and there's another fellow. Good day, sir. Oh, there's another marker. Another one right there. City of London marker right there. And we're off to the races. Make sure you don't have any problem coming around the corner. No, nobody else is coming. And we're off. So we're this second leg of the journey. We're going between Fanshawe and this time it's Gainsborough, and then we'll have to cross one more busy road. This one has a crossing. You'll see what the proper crossing looks like. And on the right, we can see there's another industrial area. So I don't know what that is, but oh, there's school buses parked over there too. Anyway, so it is a kind of the, like I say, it's kind of the industrial area. So there is residential mixed in some places, but you'll see that that's the case, that there's some of that industrial. And on the other side over here, same thing. You can see in the distance there's an apartment building, and then there's another path right here that goes off to the residential area, industrial area. So there's lots of nice paths through this area. Oh, there's a big school bus depot, I guess. Don't really know. That's the great thing about bicycling, is you discover stuff that you didn't know was here, and there's nobody here. Like, it's kind of like a hidden secret. And that's what I find about bicycling, is you really, even if the roads are busy, the paths are great. So that's what I'm always telling people, get on your bikes. Now maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot, inviting everybody to come to these lovely paths, and then they'll all be busy. But hey, then they'll build more. So I can live with that. So here we go. We're coming up to Gainsborough now. And like I said, this is a proper, it says yield to vehicles on roadway, look both ways before crossing. So we'll do that. Nice little bench there on this side and this side. And here we go. Here's a proper one here. I know they're gonna redo this road soon. They're always redoing the road. So just push that.
Yellow lights are flashing.
Okay, we got that part done.
Yellow lights are flashing.
Okay, here we go. I just saw a sign. I just got to look. I'm terrible for that. We're gonna read a sign. I got to see what it says. So I think this is when they established it. It says here, London Hyde Park Rotary Link, commemoration of the Roland Centennial something. Maybe that was a guy. Roland Centennial, I don't know. From 1905 to 2005, 100 years of service. I think maybe that's the guy they named it after. I don't know. But these are kind of cool things you discover on a bike. Now I have actually started a bicycle tour company. Get back on my bike here. And excuse the wobble. Here we go. So actually I started a bicycle tour company. Very creative name, London Bicycle Tours. But it makes it simple to look up. So if you look up London Bicycle Tours Canada, then you'll find my site instead of the one in London, England, which is going for 25 years longer than me. So I'm sure he's got better Google search SEO. But my tours are not often in the outskirts of the city like this, but it's more the downtown where I work with my partner at the London Bicycle Cafe. That's where we start on Thames Boulevard. So we start on the Thames River. It sounds like London is a London, England wannabe. And I guess the answer is yes, it is. We were named after London, England, and we're on the River Thames, or we call it the Thames River here. And the London Bicycle Cafe is on Thames Boulevard. And you're going to see in a few minutes all the street names. They're all named after streets in England too. So that's okay. I can live with that. So here we go. So now we're going to, there's some nice park benches here, and there was a rollerblader just went by, and this is an area where we can kind of peek in because I got this go up higher. You can see the little houses here. We'll just take a little tour. They put a little thing here. There's a nice pond, some ducks in there, a nice little pathway. It looks like they got a sign coming up. They haven't got the sign up yet, but this little path is new. It wasn't here before, so just a little area to go enjoy the pond. So here we go around the corner. We'll get back on the main path. Hadn't been on that before. They must have just put that in as well. So that's an example. You just keep discovering new stuff all the time. And then over here, now we're coming up to Canterbury Park. So again, a pretty British name. And then behind the park is these big houses. If you can see them there. Yeah. And then there's a soccer field here. And now we're coming up to the first railway that we had to get by, but this one is actually an underpass, so that's cool. And there's another stormwater pond we're going to come to on the left. I'm just going to put the camera up a bit higher so you can see it. I think you should be able to see it. Oh, there we are. Another stormwater pond. Here we go. Guys, oh, the turtle.
Yeah, he'll throw you off your bike.
Oh.
So. Yeah, I know.
Is that
That's what we're doing too.
Is that a snapping turtle?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're all admiring him. So.
Oh, he looks really nice. Yeah, well, I shall avoid him. Okay. There we go. See, these are the things you discover on the trails. Now, we've come to the end of the trail, sort of. Like the trail continues on, but it's just a dirt path here for a bit. We're gonna head on through here. Now, this is actually private property. We're allowed to go through here, but it says, you know, it's like this is a lumber yard, and yeah, it says warning, 24-hour surveillance for Rona. So what happens is Rona hardware, again, a lumber yard on a rail line makes a lot of sense, and that's why they had it. On the right-hand side, they've actually got a fence up and some storage of lumber stuff on this side, but the main store is on our left here. So we're gonna cross their little road here. Warning, trespassing. No, okay, so we're gonna head straight through this little tiny cow path, which officially is, you know, it was the rail line before they ripped it up between 1988 and now. So we just gotta make our way through here. Makes it interesting. So we're running parallel to a main road, but for the most part, you can't even hear it. It's somewhere in the distance. Now we're gonna come up closer to it in a few minutes, but then we're gonna quickly zip into a neighborhood and cut through some different paths. That way we can stay off the main road. There is a painted white line to protect us all down what is called Hyde Park Road. Yes, another reference to British names, Hyde Park. But that is a busy road, and we want to keep on the quiet and narrow. So just 1 second here. There are bumps along the way. Oops, just gonna. There we go. One advantage of having an e-bike is that I can use the throttle to get me up over the little hills, and against the wind it kind of works, especially if I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand. So the good news is we've kind of got to the end of the dirt path, and now we're on a little bit of a pavement here. Just gonna curve around here. They get these yellow posts to keep the cars out and stuff like that. There is obviously a business right here. Oh, there's a rabbit just going by. And now we get up to Hyde Park, another yellow things to keep the people away. So this is why I tried to avoid this one, because it's a busy road. So we're just going the path briefly. So we're at the 4-kilometer mark now, and basically we're gonna just bypass this railway. If we look over on the right hand side, there's the railway. So there's actually 2 railways that run right through London, which can be a problem when you have the level crossings along main streets. If you can believe it, they still exist in London, Ontario. So that's a challenge. But they're working on it. They just built an underpass under Adelaide, and they keep trying to get rid of these. Now we're going to something called Staffordshire Park. And we're just going to cut through here, past these yellow boulders here. Again, as I go through, I'm just going to give you the names of the places so you kind of know. You kind of know the references to England. It's kind of funny that way. And you can follow this route up. If I'm really talented, I might even get a map up so you can follow my route along the side, so you can recreate the route yourself if you want to do it. So it's a nice little ride. So here we go. Again, these beautiful paths that they've made just behind the houses here. Really nice. And here we go. Past these yellow things again. Up, and it's beautiful. Look at this. Yep. Kind of peek into people's backyards, see how people got pools. Little bump. Oh, they even put a basketball hoop in the laneway here. And now we come to, yeah, this is a nice area. So we're going to go down this street, and I think this one's called Staffordshire. So we've now actually passed. We were in Hyde Park kind of neighborhood and industrial area. Now we're into what they call Oak Ridge. It's actually just one second while I get organized here. As you can see, Manchester and Staffordshire, if that's the proper way to say it. Just going to, car going by. So off we go. Just gotta get organized here. Again, beautiful houses. You can see them here. And very few cars. Well, it's a Saturday morning, and but even so, this is really gets busy. A little bit windy. I hope the noise of the wind doesn't make it too noisy for you. We're going to be getting up to a park shortly, so hopefully that'll work out okay, where it won't be so noisy. People walking their dogs. So we're coming up to what they call I may say it wrong, Cheltenham Park. So I kind of made this route so I could go on every single path that I could find. And so it's not a straight line for the final 3 kilometers to the bog. Look at the size of those houses back there, and the lawns and the park, just gorgeous. Now as we go through here, and I'll show you the beautiful houses going through here. They're large. largish. What you don't see on the left-hand side is that big bush, right? But I'm gonna, again, put it on the screen. I'm gonna put a Google map to show there's actually a pond back there. So and there's a big, all this wooded area is quite large, actually. You'll see it on the map more easily. But right now, we're just kind of cutting through this park with all these beautiful houses. Kind of see you into their backyards. That's what you get to do when you go on these little places, back paths and stuff like that. Here we go, cutting through. Oh, there's the opening to the pond. Although you can't see the pond, it's there. Oops, gotta get through the bushes here. Fun, fun, fun. So I really, really enjoy going through all these back alleys, so to speak, back paths. And now we're coming up to this road here. What does my road say? This one here, it's Northumberland. So let's just get onto the road and we're onto Northumberland. We're going to take this one down a bit and then we're going to cut through another path. I love when the neighborhoods have cut-through paths, and that way people don't have to go around on the streets just to get to their neighbor than one street over. They can cut through, and this is a good example of these cut-throughs making it very walkable. And speaking of walkable, there's a guy walking his dog. Good morning. Oops, went through a stop sign, but I don't think that matters at this moment because there's nobody around. We're gonna call that okay. So we're heading down this street here and we're looking for a little laneway to the left. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little fence area to the left. And this will cut us through to Manchester again. And whoops, you go, bump, bump. Just love these cut-throughs. Oh, okay. Now, the Canadian flag, well, Canadian maple leaf anyway. So this is a really cool, literally cool because it's shaded like this. Really cool to get through here. Turn it back to me for a second here so you can just see what it looks like. This is the sort of thing that you can discover by getting a Google Maps out and just following the bicycle paths. And when a street says no exit, that just means for cars, because for bikes a lot of times you find that it doesn't mean you. Now, road closed, local traffic only. So we're going to pretend that we're local traffic only. We're just going down one street anyway, so we'll do that. Hunt Club Drive. So we're going to turn right here. So we're off the construction. Boom, boom, boom. And sorry for the bumps. Here we go. So we're heading down Hunt Club Drive. Now, on the map, maybe I'll throw that up again. You're going to see that there's a big giant Hunt Club golf course that was built years ago. And that one there it's called the Hunt Club Country Club. Hunt Club Country Club, something like that. Anyway, the point being is that it kind of suits the neighborhood. It's a bit on the ritzy side, so I don't go there. But this area is very nice. You can see the houses around here. They're really, really nice. I'm just looking for the path that we're going to cut through. This is a gorgeous path that you'll just love. It's, again, they really do a good job when they do Kings Park Crescent. I think that's kind of a name that would be something that the British would have. So I still look, oh, here, I think we're coming up to it. I think this, oh, here we are. There's another person walking. Here we go. Good morning. And we're just going to turn onto this here. This one's called Oak Park. So we're going to go through Oak Park, and this goes in behind people's houses. So I wish more developers would do this. You know, it's really a great asset for the neighborhood to have these kind of parks. I don't know if you want to see my face anymore, but I'll just keep talking. But these are beautiful, beautiful parks. Just a second, I gotta, oops, there we go, a little wobble. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, and looking over here, I'm gonna show you a treehouse. Someone's got a treehouse and beautiful shaded fireplace there. big, huge trees. You can't kind of get a sense of it, but if I go back here, you can. Just huge trees, all shaded, gorgeous. And there's a cross path. I'll just quickly show you that in a second here. There's a path. This is the idea. There's a path that way, a path this way. Good morning.
Hi.
Little doggy. Okay. Now we're heading through this path. And because it's really getting hot, right now it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, I think it is. And with the heat's coming on, it's going to really be hot today, so I'm kind of glad to get through this. Good morning. So now it's going to be hot. I'm going to come out into the park here. Beautiful park. Oak Park. And of course I picked this route, so we're going downhill, so I don't have to, again, sorry if there's a little bit of wind here. It's because I'm going so fast. 24 kilometers an hour downhill. I'm not pushing on the throttle, but we're going fast just because of the incline. So there's a playground structure. Look at this beautiful park, soccer field. Nice paths through here. And we're coming up to another little person walking. Now we're going on to Royal York Road. Again, all these references to England and the naming that they do there. I'm going to try. You notice that by doing all of these kind of twisty-turny paths for the last 3 kilometers, I've avoided roads for the most part, but we are coming up to another main road. This one's called Oxford, and it's a busy road. So I just got to scoot across there. And once we get across there, well, we're going to be arriving at the bog that I talked about at the beginning. I haven't really talked about it much yet, but it's a 10,000-year-old bog that was formed when the glaciers came through. So we'll get to that in a minute. I got to get across here safely. So, and over the road is Tifton Bog, so that's where we're going to go. But we got to get past all this traffic. You can see the sign here says 60 kilometers an hour. Sometimes people treat that as a suggestion rather than a rule. Oh, it looks like I might have a chance to get past this right. Nothing coming this way. Someone behind me, and I'm going to make a run for it. Not the best, but we did it. Okay, we're going. And there is actually a bicycle path here if you've managed to cross the road safely. So here we are. This is called the Tifton Bog Natural Area. It's an environmentally significant area, and here we go. Now there's no bikes allowed, so we're going to be doing, I'm going to change to lock the bike up and walk with you into the park. Oh, beware of coyotes. And there's nesting birds and there's ticks could be found in the area. No bikes allowed. So, okay, so we got to get the bike locked up. Give me a second and I will start on the walk with you. Okay, the bike is all locked up, just in front of the sign that says help protective sensitive nesting birds. It says here don't feed the wildlife and the fish. And here it says these are all the things you shouldn't do, and here's ticks may be found and coyotes may be found. And okay, so let's go. So this is the most southerly acidic bog in Canada. So they have all kinds of information here. So kind of interesting is that it shows how it all formed. Basically what happened is that, 15,000 years ago at the end of the glaciers, a big block of ice you can see formed, and they have what they call a kettle lake, and eventually this fills with peat. Now in this case, this here particular bog is like 60 feet deep. Originally it was 60 feet deep. The pond, like the kettle lake, was 60 feet deep, or 18 meters. And then what happened is it filled with all kinds of decaying matter. And the whole reason that it forms is that there's no drainage. Everything flows towards the bog, but nothing drains from it. And so everything just sort of rots and it forms a bog. And so there's all kinds of acidic plant life that lives here, like the acidic carnivorous plants that we're talking about. So we're going to travel, I don't know if you can see this here, we're going to travel, it says you are here, we're going to travel on this boardwalk, and the boardwalk is designed to get us to Redmond's Pond. So this is what is left of the bog. So what happened is it used to be huge like this. You can kind of see the coloring is a little bit different. This was the originally the bog, and then it's just shrunk to this. This is like 5 feet deep, 1.5 meters deep, and it's kind of like the only thing left. There's a little, you can see a little bit of blue over here, but basically the development is all around it, and they made this an environmentally sensitive area. And the yellow, which we'll talk about later, is the path that you can walk around the outside of the bog, and it's really quite nice. And again, they're showing a little bit about it here too, the fact that you've got upland deciduous forest, which means in a deciduous swamp, treed bog, open bog, pond. So basically what's happening is just closing in, the trees are closing in, they call it succession, and it's closing in on the pond. Eventually, potentially the pond will, you know, it potentially in the future will completely fill in. So it does talk about the northern pitcher plant, and it talks about this sphagnum moss. So these are some of the kind of things that grow here that don't grow elsewhere. And of course, and then the buckthorn. I gotta talk about the buckthorn later, but for now we'll just go on the path. So the whole reason that they put this boardwalk here is because the vegetation is very sensitive, and so many people walking on it would cause a lot of damage. So they have put in this boardwalk. So you can see over to the right, there's someone's backyard. So again, the residential area closed in on this. The Sifton was the company that built a lot of houses in this area. In Oak Ridge was actually the first kind of suburban area in Canada, the Sifton company. And they made this Sifton area, which was in the middle of their development, as a give it, you know, back to the city and to the people. They couldn't build really on it anyway. You can kind of see kind of the marshy area. They just let all the trees fall and use it for critters to live on. You know, I like puns, so I might you might hear a pun or two as we go along. What's interesting about these carnivorous plants I was talking about, they're here, and we're kind of, there's 4 different kinds, and the one that's the most amazing we probably can't even see because it's so small, but it's really amazing. Oh, there's a cardinal just flew by. So the common bladderwort. So I looked this up because I thought it was so interesting, but it's actually in the Guinness World Book of Records as being the fastest aquatic plant in the world when it comes to what it does. It doesn't have any roots, so the only way it can live is by sucking in aquatic material, organic material, and it does that so quickly that scientists had to use a camera that had 10,000 frames per second to finally capture how fast their trapdoor shut. And they found out it was like 5 milliseconds. And I know it's so small I don't even know what that means, but anyway, they're really, really fast. Second. And what happens is that there's so much force when that trapdoor opens and the plants get sucked in that it creates a G-force of 2,800 Gs. Now, just for perspective, when the astronauts take off, they're exposed to a force of 3 Gs. And when you see the Tom Cruise movie, the latest one with Maverick in it, and when he got to 8 Gs, 9 Gs, 10 Gs, they pass out. So that's 10 Gs, people pass out. Imagine 2,800 Gs. That's the kind of pressure. Nothing gets, if you're a little tiny aquatic critter, nothing gets by when that thing sucks it in there. And deprived of oxygen, then it starts to digest the aquatic little stuff, little creatures. So this is the boardwalk we're in right now. So what happens is we can see that this is like the small forest that they were talking about that forms. There's a whole succession of trees from bog to a little bit bigger plants, and then bigger finally trees and so on. So that's what we're kind of experiencing right now. But they don't want you to walk off the path. They stay on the boardwalk. So we're coming now to an open area. So like I said, this is the most southerly acidic bog in Canada, and so you can't use it for anything else anyway. So it makes sense that they would just keep this as something special. And it's when you start to research about this, it's like really amazing, because what happens is it's a very much of a balance. For example, when they had so many deer here in 2005, they had to like move them, and they were going into people's backyards, eating their gardens. So that wasn't any good. And they also were eating all the vegetation and all the young plant life, and that wasn't good either. So the deer had to go. There was like 55, and they also do not release goldfish, because they don't belong here. Just no goldfish. Don't do that. Don't put your goldfish in the pond. So this is all that's left of this is called Redmond's Pond, and there's dragonflies going by there. I don't know if you can see them. I can. Okay, right there. Yeah, so this is the so what happens is a lot of what they call sphagnum moss is also here, and peat, and they did originally try to harvest some things from here. Like for example, they harvested the moss in World War I, because they kind of used it in place of cotton gauze. They used it for hospitals in World War I for the soldiers, if you can believe it. And then they also, in World War II, they harvested the buckthorn alder. So I'll tell you what they did that in a minute, but first you should know is the deer don't like it. And the reason they don't like it is because it's like a laxative. And now mind you, if you want a laxative, you apparently have to dry the bark for a year, and then it'll be okay to use as a laxative in small doses. However, if you take the fresh bark and you take it, then it becomes what they call an explosive, explosive purgative. In other words, blow your ass off. But now speaking about explosions, what happens is they did harvest it in World War II because the bark actually is like a slow burn, and they used it for gunpowder and like slow fuses. So I think I'll use it for gunpowder instead of for laxative, or avoid it altogether. So but that's some of the uses that they've actually made from this here. But that was in the early days. They actually cut down a lot of trees originally as well for Christmas trees, and they stopped that as well. So now it's just an environmentally sensitive area. They try to balance out all the various things that like it was a time too where they actually tried to drain this pond, and that upset the whole balance of things. So they stopped that. They plugged the drain because that wasn't a good thing. So those are just some things but what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to take you on what I showed before, which is the yellow paths. I'm just going to cut here, and then we'll take you on the yellow path, because I just think I should show you the kind of the forest. It's just beautiful. So hang on. So what we're going to do next is we're going to actually go to the mature forest on the bottom here of the, as I mentioned before, all the water drains towards the bog, and eventually that pond will disappear. But we're going to go to the mature forest in the south of the park. So I'll get you there in a minute. Meanwhile, I do have 2 bog jokes for you, so bear with me. I can't help myself. So what did the bog say to the pond? I'm liking your style. You can groan. And the second one is, what did the bog say to the other plants? You must be kidding me. Oh, too bad. Okay, I can't help myself. Okay, I'm gonna get you to the forest. Hang on a second and we'll go there next. You're gonna hate me for this. Okay. Hi. So I'm in the more mature forest. I'm actually on a hill. As I was mentioning, these all drain down towards the pond. So I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can actually see. We're up in the high part here and we're going down. You can see that the forest is a lot more mature here than it was in the last time we were on the boardwalk. It was very immature and it was gradually creeping towards the pond. So here you can see the trees are a lot bigger. So the big thing here is this environmentally sensitive area is to keep to the paths. I mean, they have a lot of unofficial paths. They try to keep people off those and keep them on a single paths. And they really don't want like invasive species. They don't want to have dogs in here because they chase the wildlife. They don't want goldfish. In other words, try to keep this as natural as possible. So it's a challenge when you have this bog right in the middle of a residential neighborhood and people all love it. They want to come here, but they got to be respectful of the fact that you can ruin it for nature and other people. So, but it's beautiful in here. It's very quiet. You can see in here like this. So, you know, people can have a bad effect. There's no bikes allowed in here. I had to park my bike out and walk in here. That's good because it doesn't ruin the paths. And also, they don't want any. You hope that people don't vandalize things. Sometimes people do that, so which is a real shame. But you can see it's quite beautiful. So this is the more mature part of the bog. This is what eventually, as the pond fills in, probably what will happen is eventually this will be taken over by these big trees. Now, one of the things too is the runoff from the roads, it can also cause a problem. So they do have a stormwater management pond to prevent that from happening. So they are trying to take measures to save this area from man, basically. Now, you'll probably notice too, I took off my helmet. The helmet not only keeps my head safe from crashes, which I've never had, well, once, but it also protects it from the sun. You might have noticed that I started losing my hair when I was 28, and now it's all gone. Well, mostly all gone. It's a gradual thing, just like this reforestation. I'm just not going to get reforested. And but I didn't really notice I was losing it till it just took me longer and longer to wash my face. Whoops, there's someone there. That's another bad joke. Kind of slipped that in there. Oh dear. Oh, speaking of deer, what do you call, one guy says, the other guy says, what do you call a deer with no eyes? The other guy says, no ID. No, how's it go? No idea. Another bad one. Okay. Okay, so we're going through the forest here. So there's sugar maples and carnivorous trees as well. So a lot of the forest here is kind of like, it looks like more of a northern forest, even though we're in the southern area, just because of the acidic nature of the soil. So you get the idea. This is a real treasure. Now I'm just going to head back to the beginning, and I'll just say to you that if you like this sort of thing, if you like exploring on your bike, or you'd like to do that, you'd like to come to London City, this is just one of many, many things that happens in London. I'll be putting up more videos that showcase our city and all the paths and the way you can explore London by bike. If you'd like to go on a tour with me, I told you before, you can just go to Google London Bicycle Tours Canada. That'll get you there. Or the actual site is londonbicycletours.ca, and that'll get you there too. So give me a call, email me, text me, whatever, and we'll book a tour and we can explore London together. And really, in closing, treat each day as your last, because one day you'll be right. Until next time, take care. Bye.